And he's like, it's Ohio State. I was like, excuse me? I'll go that one.
Yeah.
Thanks. You'll go onto the turf indoor field, and if there's any like white piece of grass that's on the green piece of grass, you'll pick them up.
You're
and put
kidding.
Them on.
Wow.
Yeah, just
That's insane.
So it was like a flood of just red versus yellow, just going crazy on each other.
How did it stop?
Police got involved. Mr. President, appreciate it. Thanks for having us, mate. And then, left, and he shook my hand. And whether you like him or hate him, he's the sitting president of the United States. And then to Xander, by the way, I won't cop that.
Yeah.
Like, if any that pisses me off a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a very special guest. We've got him while he's in Melbourne, which he doesn't spend a whole lot of time here anymore because he is a superstar overseas doing great things. We're going to get into his story right now. Mr. Joe McGuire, welcome to the dos&d show.
Thanks for having me on. It's good to be here.
Mate, we are pumped. And welcome back. How's it been being back in Melbourne?
It's great, yeah. Just seeing as many friends and family as I can, doing all the things I used to love, eating at my favourite restaurants, and just things that you sort of miss when you're not at home.
How long you been over there now? Like, are you pretty comfortable now?
Yeah, it's coming up on 3
there?
years. So, nearly 3 years. So it's been a while. It's gone really fast, but
Yeah.
also slow at the same time. But
Is the culture shock real? Or
yeah, it's different. There's a lot of differences.
But you travelled a lot
Yeah.
to the States, didn't you, growing up?
Yeah,
as well?
so I was lucky. I've been to a lot of America before, but never really to the Midwest. So I sort of think, the Midwest is what America is. Like, that's your standard American person, sort of what you might see in the movies, to be honest, outside of New York and LA. So I sort of say to people, there's New York, there's LA, there's Miami, and maybe sort of Dallas. And then outside of that, it's a completely different place.
Yeah.
Which
So
I'm loving.
When we find you now at this time of the year, tell us where it is in terms of the season.
Yep, so I'll give you the full rundown. So we start about, I think it was 20 days this year after our last game.
Crazy.
So we go straight into winter workouts, which is just agony. Like, it's just hard. We're 9 months from the season, or probably a bit longer. It's just murder the body, lifting, running, just get into peak fitness that you can. Then from there, we go straight into spring training, which is we actually play football. So we're using balls. We're having regular season practices, but there's no real game. At the end, there is a thing called the spring game, which is basically an intra-club. So it doesn't go for the full length of a game, but there's times where it's a practice match. There's times where they're running some drills. We might do some field goals. When you get to fourth down, they'll punt, sort of thing, up until half time. And then, so that's when the break is. Then on Sunday, I go back, and Monday we start summer training, which is basically the same as winter, but it's a little bit warmer outside. So it'll be 12 weeks of just getting absolutely flogged, just sprinting, running, gym work. You name it. It's really, really tough, but it's fun because the challenge is there. The challenge is the fun of it, I guess. Very, very competitive. And then from then in August, we go into fall camp, which is super intense, probably 14 hours a day at the facility. And we're doing meetings, we're doing training every day, lifting every day, more meetings, dinner, more meetings. And then we actually stay at a team hotel. So everyone's all locked in. You're sort of tucked away for 3.5 weeks. And then from there, the season starts.
My goodness.
So you mentioned the spring intra club, essentially. Now this isn't like just some we're talking like huge crowds for an intra club. I want you to explain your first experience. I think there was like a crazy number.
Yeah, so my first one, we got 80,000.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Which is pretty ridiculous for an intra club in spring. But it's a big deal. It's people's first look at the new team. You only get to play you can be on the team for 5 years, and then your eligibility is done. So each year, you lose 20 to 30% of all your players, and then now with the transfer portal, it's even more. So it's everyone's first opportunity to see the new team and what they look like, where the strengths and weaknesses might lie. This year we got a little bit less because it was raining and bad weather. I think it was about 40,000. But that's
just
still
a lazy 40K. Yeah,
well, yeah.
It's like some Marvel Stadium. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So that's what spring training is, what the spring game is, and it's a bit of fun. So
we're really excited to kind of go behind the scenes because, like we're telling you off air, we're quite naive into this world, and it's really interesting for us to hear about a Division 1 NCAA athlete and what you guys go through. But maybe, again, I think a lot of our listeners will probably be in the same boat. We're very curious when we want to get a look behind the curtain. So interested in the training. So this vigorous training program, can you talk us through a typical day in the off season?
Yeah, so there's different parts of the off season. So I'll start with winter. We'll get there at about 6 o'clock in the morning. But you have to be, so training will start at 6:30. You have to be there at 6.
Yep.
If you're a minute late, it is a disaster. Like, I would rather crash my car than like show up late. Like, it is so bad.
For what reason?
Because you can't be late. That's.
But there's obviously a punishment or something.
So you'll have dawn patrol on Saturday. So you've got to be there at 6. You're cleaning the weight room. You're restocking fridges. Sometimes if there's nothing to do, which happened to us one time, you'll go onto the turf indoor field, and if there's any like white piece of grass that's on the green piece of grass, you'll pick them up.
You're
and put
kidding?
Them on.
Wow.
That's insane. So stuff to do. Then after that, you'll have community service.
Mm-hmm.
Then on Monday, if you're the
Community service.
This isn't just you, by the way. This is you and your entire unit. So this is if I'm late, it's me and all the other specialists and my coach. So
Gee, I'm glad I'm not in with you.
Then
No, we're being serious trouble.
Then you're kicked out of the locker room for 3 days. You're like Harry Potter. You're under the stairs. That's where you get changed and live for the 3 days. You and your entire unit and your coach. And then you have to do a lock in on Monday. You have to go and work at football, and they make sure you're doing your homework, and they'll drive you to and from class. And so it's no good. You don't want to be late. So get there 6 o'clock for 6:30 training. Then you'll train in winter, it'll be 6:30 to 7:30 will be running and sprinting, and then 7:30 till about 8:39 is lifting pretty heavy in the gym. Mm-hmm. And then after that, I'll go and do some recovery. I might do a sauna. I might meet with one of my coaches about the upcoming spring and game plan. And then I'll go and have some lunch, look after the body. Then at 12 o'clock, class. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I had class from 12:30 till 7 every day. And then get home, do homework. There's a thing called SASO that we have, which is like student athlete academic help. And it's not as much help as it is making sure that you're on your stuff.
Yeah.
So, for example, during the season, if you haven't completed your assignments for the week, on Wednesday or Thursday, they'll come to the dining room and literally like walk you across the road and like make sure you do your homework before you can go to school the next day. So
Jeez, that's crazy.
What are you studying?
I'm doing business and media in sport.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's good though. I mean, like all the guys, you have to do your own work. There's some people like to imply that athletes get help, but that's not the case. There's still integrity in the academic side, but they make sure that you do it, which is good. You need to get it done to be eligible, so it's important.
For someone who doesn't probably understand the whole makeup of a football team over there, when you say unit, I'd love you to explain what the whole squad actually, I guess, includes.
Yeah, so there's 10 units. So quarterbacks, running backs, tight ends, specialists, offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, defensive backs, safeties. That might have been 10. Might be fitting on, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, so it's all the different position groups. So that's the unit.
And how many coaches would be in each unit? Like, do you have like a specialist coach?
Three, I reckon.
Yeah, okay.
Three. Well, and there's coaches, quality control, and analysts. So and they're GAs, so like people who've just graduated.
Gotcha.
So there's different levels of it all, but so there's I think there's 10 main coaches.
Yep.
And then they've all got people underneath them.
Yep.
And I know at the moment we're kind of more setting the scene for your story, but then to go even further, each season, what as a percentage, rough guess, what's the turnover of players or squad?
It'd be 25 to 30 probably, just because you get people that graduate. Some people transfer out. We had a lot of people finish up this year just because we actually last year and the 2024 season, we probably lost 40% of our team just because there was a big group of seniors and they all either graduated or got drafted. So you got to replace them. That's through the portal, through recruiting. But that's just the nature of college football. Like you're going to get probably 25 to 30 recruits every year that come in. Now you probably get 5 to 15 portal people, and that's just how it is.
Did I hear can you get transferred too?
Yeah. So you can't get transferred. You can put yourself in the portal.
Okay.
But there's no like trading like in professional sport.
Okay.
A team might say to you, look, we don't want your services anymore, but you won't get kicked out of the university. You just won't be on the team.
Gotcha.
So if they say, look, we think you're doing that well here, you would probably enter the portal just so that you can continue playing football elsewhere. But like I said, if you're at a really good academic school and that's what you're there for, you can, once you got your scholarship there, you're there.
Yeah.
How do the facilities compare to, say, AFL clubs here?
Yeah, they're pretty insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen all the AFL facilities, but I've been to Collingwood's and they're, that's probably up there. Ours would just be bigger because we've got more people. Anything you can think of though, dry float, sauna, cryotherapy, hot tub, cold tub, any machine you can think of, like I don't even know the names of half of them.
Yeah.
We've got the squat racks, which I think they have this at Collingwood as well. Your squat racks, everything, there's a camera on every single one, and it determines like the velocity of how fast you stand up. So then, you can compare that to last week, and if it's down, like are you injured, are you fatigued, like what's going on. Force plates that we jump on that measure how high we jump, how much force goes through each leg, sort of thing. Like anything that you can think of that would be used for athletic testing, we have.
And then the budget, I heard you say around food as well, is insane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's insane. It could be a couple of million for sure.
Yeah, just to feed the lads.
Just to feed the lads. So there's 200 of us. They feed us a couple of times a day, and then dinner, lunch. There's always leftovers as well. So yeah, it's a lot of mouths to feed, and we can put away a fair bit of food.
I bet you can.
Even those defensive linemen, they're the guys that are 300 plus pounds, which is about 135 plus kilos, so maybe more.
They're definitely go up for seconds.
Well, but they have to, because they'll lose. I mean, some of them lose 6 or 7 pounds.
Yeah. Wow, you are young. Yeah.
In a training session. A lot of that's water weight, but also when you got that much mass that you're moving, and their body fat's not actually that high. Like they're just muscle. So they need to fuel the beast, I guess. So, yeah.
So, and then outside of scholarship, are you guys now paid as well, or are some people paid?
Yeah. So you can't like pay them the way you'd pay an employee.
Yeah.
There's a thing called NIL, name, image, and likeness, and basically you are allowed to make money off your name, image, and likeness. So I could get, for example, it's different as an international student. I'm saying from the perspective of an American, they could get like a Chick-fil-A could sponsor them and get them to go and post a few things on Instagram and get paid for that.
Okay.
And this
is new, isn't it?
This is new. This is the last 5 years.
Okay.
As of last year, I think there's now revenue share. So up to, I think the rule is 20 million across all sports, but obviously football's a bit more favoured. You can pay players out of the revenue share. That's it's all new, but they still have to work a little bit for that. There's big contracts for it, and it's up to, football normally is about $16 million you can pay your players through revenue share.
Right.
But there's very specific ways. I don't want to say the wrong way in case I'm getting it
don't
wrong.
get
There's very specific ways that you are allowed to and not allowed to. And then the name, image, likeness stuff, there'd be, being in a school like Ohio State, naturally, because it's so big, you'll get more sponsors interested in sponsoring your players. So that's they can attract more money and yeah.
Now, let's maybe rewind a tad. Mm-hmm. We've talked about you being there, what it's like, what you're doing, but I guess how did you get into it? Because, you come from a very AFL, focused family. You're very well known yourself in the Melbourne, I guess, but where does an opportunity like this come about? And have you always been a fan of the game as well? Yeah, so I grew up watching NFL with my dad and brother over summer. So the time zone aligned a bit better there, and it was the playoffs. So December, January, we'd go down the beach and we'd watch that in the morning and then head to the beach in the afternoon. So I always liked NFL. As I said earlier, we went to America on holidays and stuff, and we'd go to games whenever we could. So loved the sport. But then, I finished school and I was working a fair bit, and then not knowing exactly what I wanted to do. And one of my mates, Lockie Swanee, who played VFL at Carlton for a while and now works in the leadership group there. He actually came up to me and he was like, mate, you got a pretty good leg and you like your NFL. Why don't you try this thing called Pro Kick? And I was like, I think I've heard about that. Like, I think Dad might have mentioned it a bit earlier, maybe one time. And he said, they send guys over to college, like you kick a footy and, that's, I don't know much more about it. And I was like, all right, yeah, sure, I'll reach out. So spoke to Dad about it. He's like, yeah, mate, Nathan Chapman runs that. So I know him. I'll send him a text and see what it's about. Chappie got back to him and said, yeah, mate, come down and have a kick at whatever oval it was. I think it was Gardner Park in Melbourne. I was like, yeah, no worries, all right, kick a footy, go down. And I get there and you got Brett Thorson's there, who was at Georgia for 4 years, won the Ray Guy and is now at the Vikings. So murdering balls. A guy called Cam Peasley, who got picked up by Utah, who was also murdering balls. And then James Burnip, who did a preseason at the Saints and went to Alabama 4 years. Yeah, wow.
So
talent.
They're kicking the thing and it's coming down wet. Like it's, I'm just like, oh crap. Oh no, what have I got myself into here? Yeah. And I had a bit of a kick with Chappie and I didn't realize it was actually a tryout. So I didn't know it was, you actually had to try out. Anyway, thankfully he thought, all right, there's enough to work with here. Pretty raw, but we can work with it. So he said, yeah, come down to the training session. So I went a little bit and I started talking to guys who were back visiting, and then some guys had just gotten a scholarship, and, I did all my research on it, and I was watching videos of, college football entrances, crowd atmosphere, whatever. I sort of just fell in love with it a bit. So I started talking to Chappie and Johnny, and there was a guy, Tim, there as well, who they were all the coaches when I was there. And they sort of pulled me aside. I think Chappie pulled me aside one day. He's like, mate, have you seen much college football? I was like, yeah, I've watched a little bit, He's like, now, you're 6'2" and you're 73 kilos. Like, do you reckon you look like one of them? I was like, oh, probably not. He's like, you're right. You're going to go to the gym now and you're going to put on 20 kilos. I was like, okay. So they introduced me to a guy called Dave Tunavai at Conquest Fitness. And he was a tough coach. Like, he coaches strength and conditioning for the Tongan rugby team now. So knows what he's doing.
Yeah, wow.
Every Saturday he'd get me in the ring we did 6 rounds of boxing drills, and then we do 6 rounds in the ring, and we just go at each other just to build that sort of toughness.
Yep.
Wow.
That competitive spirit. And he took me from about 73, 74 kilos to, did a bit of a dirty bulk. So
We've all done that. Yeah,
I got a little bit heavy at one stage. I think I peaked at around 106 or 107 maybe.
Wow.
But back down to 95 now, which
Yep.
is probably which is what they want me to stay at, about 95 kilos. So
This episode with Joe McGuire is brought to you by Coinspot.
Joey McGuire. Yes, it is, Dos. Coinspot is the #1 place to buy, sell, and trade your cryptocurrency. And, of course, you can get involved for as little as $1.
Download the app today.
Back to the episode with Joe McGuire.
And yeah, so I trained through pro kick, got a little bit injured for a bit in the middle. And then, I slowly got better and better. And then Chappie tapped me on the shoulder one day and was telling me about a different school, UCF. And he's like, yeah, it's a good school. Like, you could go there. It'd be a walk-on position. And I'd be the backup to Mitch McCarthy, who was at the White House yesterday, having just won the national championship at Indiana. So he transferred. And I was like, yep, let's go. Like, I'll do that. Sounds great. Power 5 school at the time. Really good program. And then about a week and a half later, he came up again. He's like, let's go for a walk after training. I was like, fuck yeah, haven't lost this opportunity, have I? What's going on? And he said, we'll just go for a walk. Gets on FaceTime while I'm during that session. He's on FaceTime to someone, like watching me kick. I'm like, maybe something's going on. Pulls me aside. He's like, mate, there's another school that's sort of interested. I was like, oh yeah, like I wonder what this will be. Maybe it's a smaller school or something. And he's like, it's Ohio State. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
What did you just say? He's like, yeah, it's Ohio State. I was like, oh, right. I'll go that one.
Yeah.
Thanks. No disrespect to UCF, but it's Ohio State. I mean, it'd be like if Collingwood's coming up and saying, you want to come? And it was the same sort of thing. So I was a walk-on, and the idea was that I'd be a backup behind Jesse Mirko. And that's what I did. I got there, backed up Jesse for that year, which I think without that I wouldn't be in my position now. Like, he was a phenomenal mentor, great guy, showed me the ropes at Ohio State, what it was like to kick in the Big Ten and everything. And then, from there he left. He went to Vanderbilt. And then it was a competition between me and a couple of other guys to get the job the next year, and worked really hard in the off-season with a guy called Cameron Johnson. So he's a 10-year NFL veteran from Melbourne, went to Ohio State, lives in Columbus when he's not playing in the NFL. And he sort of took me under his wing, thankfully, and has been the best mentor I could ever ask for, and would not be where I am today without him and Jesse. So, and I got into the competition in 2024 fall camp, and luckily he was able to get the job. So.
Insane. Just going back too, did you play much footy? Like here, were you a good AFL player? Or
yeah, so I was all right.
Yeah.
My brother kindly joked on Dane Swan's podcast that I probably get more touches now than I did playing AFL. But yeah, look, I enjoyed playing footy. I was okay. I was sort of in and out of the ones a little bit at school, but nothing special. Was never going to be an AFL player, unfortunately. Yeah. But yeah.
And what about, I mean, maybe talk a little bit about your relationship with Xander. You mentioned Xander. We've had him on the pod before. He's doing amazing things in the media himself. You're doing amazing things overseas. You must be pretty, I guess, proud of each other.
100%.
With what you guys are doing.
Yeah. No, he's one of my best mates. So if I was going to go down to the pub and get a beer with someone, he'd be first choice. So love seeing what he's doing. My nan, she loves seeing us doing what we're doing. And her and my pa, they'll video the TV every time he's on and send it to the group chat. So I actually get to see it as well when I'm over there. So it's
every single day, basically.
Every day. Exactly, yeah. Well, the texts have become a bit more frequent recently. But no, it's great. I get to feel a bit more connected to home, and it's
for sure.
I love doing that. And yeah, I call them pretty frequently. Xander probably once a week. Mum and
Nice.
Dad nearly every day. So yeah.
So, I mean, what you've described is incredible so far. But then, like, I'm trying to do the maths here. So, I mean, how many teams are in the NFL?
32.
32, right? And then of each season, I'm guessing how much turnover of actual punters would leave, probably.
It'd be 1 to 3 a year.
Yeah, so it's incredibly small. And then your job is so, like, one mistake and you can be in the bad book. So how do you cope with this enormous pressure every time you punt the ball? Because, yeah, we might say it might be a few times a game, but I assume the pressure for that one moment is just astronomical.
It is. I find training to be harder. So, I'm there, my whole team's watching. Coach Day is standing 2 meters away from me. And boring a hole in the back of my head as well. And if I hit one, he lets you know about it, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's weird. Yes, there's a lot of pressure, and you get nervous sometimes. But when I'm out there, it's sort of, all right, I've got the job now. Like, this is my job. Just go and do it.
Yep.
Depending on the game situation, yeah, definitely nerves can kick in. If it's a close game towards the end, we're backed up a little bit, then yeah, it can be a little bit nerve wracking sometimes. But I'm there for a reason. I've kicked a footy my whole life. Luckily, coming from an AFL background, I've got a few different types of kicks that are in my tool bag. And I back in my teammates in front of me to get the job done in protection. So at the end of the day, if I'm boiling it down, catch the ball and kick it.
Yep.
So as long as I work within the parameters they've set me for operation time and where to kick the ball, I know everyone else will do their job. So I just make sure I can do mine. But I think training's more nerve-wracking just because you got to earn the job. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Even with the training aspect of it, like you're a punter, you're kicking it, a few times a game, but you're training the exact same as everyone else.
Yeah.
And I find that, it makes sense. It's all about probably mental toughness and everyone's on the same page. But, everyone's in different positions doing different amounts of work during game, but you're all doing the exact same training.
Yeah, in the off season for sure. So
Yeah.
Winter and summer.
Yeah.
We work with big skill, which is tight ends, linebackers, running backs, quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And I think that really builds team camaraderie. Like, you go through the same hell together. We have these things called mat drills, which are just like awful, but they're great. Like, they're kind of fun, but they're terrible. And you feel shocking. And
What are they?
It's these collection of just random drills. Like, you're rolling on the ground, then you might be on you might be cycling. Like, it's just really hard work. It's high intensity it goes for about an hour and a
Yep.
bit. Competition amongst your mates, but it really builds the team together. Like, you go through it together, and at
Yes.
the end of it, you clean up together. It's a little bit different now, but if you've seen the Florida Gators doco called Swamp Kings with Tim Tebow,
No.
really good doco. It's similar to their mat drills, not as intense now. It's 2026. You can't do the same stuff as back then. But the point is, it's meant to be really hard, and you do that together, so that then when you are going through hell, it's the 3/4 time you're down by 10. It's like, all right, we're in this together, sort of thing. So although some of the drills might not be as applicable to specialists, I wouldn't want to have it any other way, because I want to be part of that same team. So I like that we do the same stuff in winter and summer, and then obviously in actual practices we focus on our jobs, they focus on theirs.
Now, as a Div 1 athlete walking around Ohio State, like what's it like when you're when you're not studying or you're not training or you're not playing? Are you a celebrity on campus? How does it work?
I'm not as much being a punter. Occasionally people will know you a little
Yep.
bit. But the big guys like our quarterback, Julian Sane, our wide receiver, Jeremiah Smith, all those big names, they'd struggle to walk down the street at
Yeah.
all. Like,
Really?
on campus, yeah, it's insane. I mean, Jeremiah's got his face on a Red Bull can. Like, you had guys that are on a packet of chips. It's
Thank God he gets a bit of that revenue share. Yeah.
yeah, well, he's making plenty.
Jeez.
They do make a lot, and there's speculation for how much they get paid and get offered, but it's a lot. But they deserve it. They bring in a lot of money to the university, and but yeah, I mean, I think it was JJ said, Jeremiah, it was either him or Caleb Downs last year, said that you can't even go to Target. Like, it's just
Wow.
gets swamped. Yeah, it's a big deal. Like, everyone knows who they are, their household names, sort of thing. But yeah,
Is it strict with like on the weekends? Are you like, can you tap into that party lifestyle, or are you banned from it? And then what happens? Like, I mean, to use a local reference here, footy players go down to the pub on the weekend, and if they're whatever, people like to take videos or photos and make a story out of something. Is it similar there? Or
yeah,
is it
100%. I'd say it's actually very similar to the AFL in that, like, they're okay with you going to the pub sometimes with your mates. But, if you're in a period where you need to be locked in, then use some common sense. If we've had a loss, I would not go out ever.
Right.
Or, if we've got a big game come up next week, you probably wouldn't go out much. In the off-season, just be careful what you're doing sort of thing.
Yep.
So very similar to the AFL, I'd say, because these guys, especially, maybe not as much as specialists, still a little bit. But yeah, they're incredibly recognisable and people.
Because we did say, like, off the top, like you mentioned 80,000 at the equivalent of an intra-club. But what's your average crowd you play in front of week in and week out?
Yeah, last year, actually, I saw a post about it yesterday, so that's why I know it. It was 104,105 was our average last year.
Yeah. That's
That's
crazy. For the grand final day here
nuts.
as an average crowd.
And then you could probably add on, TV, how many people are watching.
I think my biggest TV crowd was 24 million.
Yeah.
24 million. That's almost the population of the country.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Insane.
Yeah. It's crazy.
What about the Aussie flavour going on over there? I mean, you rival schools, so I'm sure you know other Aussies that are at different schools. But is there a connection piece over there? Is there any group chats with other Aussie boys? Do you catch up with them if you can, or what's the relationships like?
Yeah. So most of the punters came from Pro Kick.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're all training in the same paddock together.
Yeah.
So we're actually mostly really good mates.
Yeah.
I actually got back literally yesterday from Gold Coast with a guy called Oscar Bird, who's at Ole Miss. Really, really good punter. And we've only known each other since we've both moved to America, and we met in Nashville through James Rendell, who went to Notre Dame, who he had a bit of crossover. He punted with me before I left, and then after I left, he punted with Oscar before he went. And then Oscar and I have become mates because we met in Nashville for the 4th of July, then Nashville again for spring break, then Nashville again for 4th of July. And then, we just kept in contact, and then, we just went up to Gold Coast just to sort of have a bit of a swim and just relax in the sun a little bit.
Good.
So, the Australian connection over there is really good because we're all going through the same thing.
Yeah, for sure.
It's fantastic.
Now, not only has this man doing these incredible things, and we're talking about Div 1 and we're talking about Ohio State and everything like that, but national...
I know what you're going to say, yeah.
Like actually have won the championship, which is insane. So can you maybe talk to us a bit about that run?
Yeah. Well, do you know much about the Ohio State Michigan game?
Yes.
Yeah, so
only through listening to you, yeah.
It's that's a big deal. Like they over there, they call that the biggest rivalry in all of sport. And like wow. It is. Like it is crazy.
Did you hate Michigan?
We don't say the word.
Yeah.
We genuinely don't.
Oh, wow.
Not allowed to wear blue in our facility.
Wow.
We call them Team Up North. And on campus during that week, every single letter M. Keep in mind, our campus is the size of Melbourne CBD. A little bit bigger, actually.
That's insane.
They cross
No
out.
way.
Yeah, it's huge. Yeah, it takes me like I live on the edge of campus, and to get to the other side is a 10-minute drive.
That's nuts.
10-minute drive.
Yeah. So there's 65,000 students.
Yeah.
Anyway, every letter M on campus, whether it's a parking sign, the M in the McDonald's that's on campus. Like every M in stadium, it's all crossed out in red tape. Like you will not see. You can Google it or superimpose whatever. There is no
Then
letter
look
M
that
on
up.
campus.
Look it up, Jared.
Even like the speed limit signs, they say speed limit. M's crossed out. Like buses going through the city, M's are crossed out. If you turn on the evening news, they'll say either Team Up North or ex-Michigan. Like it's
wow.
It's like this isn't like I don't really like
Yeah, it's
Michigan.
not Carlton, Collingwood, it's bigger.
I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
Like I hate them.
But so what's interesting to me is like, okay, you've grown up. I mean, we can't compare Aussie rules to this. Obviously, there's not that kind of rivalry. But like, I'm trying to think. Maybe Adelaide or Port Adelaide might be the closest we might have Collingwood Carlton could be one. There you go. So, but that might be ingrained in you as, in your case, from your father, I assume, from a very young age. We hate Carlton, but you going over as an Aussie, like I assume you go there with no feelings towards them. And how quickly does it come to you? Where
Like the second you walk through the door.
So it's just
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so you walk in the door and
there we
it's
go.
actually,
There's an image.
There you go. There's an image of it. Yeah. So
Every M crossed out. Sorry, mate.
yeah, you can get and like McDonald's as well is all done and anyway yeah. So it's intense. But yeah, you walk in the door and it's sort of our trophy room. That's our main atrium. There's a few of them in there.
Just a couple.
So yeah, we've got the trophy room, and then there's like a wall of all the rings that we've ever won, and then there's like a little theatre, and in the theatre is playing on repeat like a highlights tape of why we hate Team Up North, and then throughout the facility we've got 3 different countdown clocks counting down to that game. and like there's like a 2 walls like dedicated to it, like highlights. A TV goes 24/7 playing the best moments in the. It's called The Game. Like
Yep.
that's just what it's called, The Game. And then if we win, we actually get a gold pennant of gold pants. Like it's made out of gold, and that stems back. So the rivalry stems back to a war between the 2 states over the Toledo Strip, which we won.
I love the little smoke comments we're getting. It's great.
I think how it actually happened was we got the Toledo Strip, but then Michigan gained statehood, I think. So it was that long ago. Anyway, from there, the 2 universities, they started playing football in the late 1800s against each other. And Michigan, Team Up North, was...
be careful.
So, pardon my language. Team Up North was a little bit more established back in the day. And they sort of beat us just year after year after year after year. I think it was like 15 to 18 times in a row sort of thing. And we got this coach, I think his name was Francis Schmidt. I think it was 1934, I want to say. And the big question to him was, how are you going to beat Team Up North? And he's like, he obviously didn't say mate, but he's like, mate, how are we going to do it? They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like everyone else. They did not score against Ohio State for 4 years in a row after that.
Wow.
And then now, as a result, every time we beat Team Up North, we get a pair of gold pants. So it's super meaningful. I mean, there's guys that would rather beat that team than win a Big Ten sort of thing.
So how many do you have of these?
Just
guys?
one.
Just one. Are you 1 and 1?
1 and 2.
Oh, 1 and 2.
I didn't play them the first year, but
Okay.
yeah. So back to your original question of the run.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
So we were 21-point favourites at home to beat that team, and they've come in and beaten us 13-10. One of the worst days ever. We just weren't on it. They had a great day, but those just disgusting people that they are got their flag and planted it in the middle of our stadium, and we weren't having that. So we turned around and it caused like an all-out brawl. Like,
really?
You can like it was
Look
like
it
police.
up, Jared.
Like there's police on the field, sort of.
What year was this?
2024.
2024. Look that up.
Yeah,
Jared.
It was like genuinely a dark day.
As in, like players v players?
Yeah.
Or? Wow.
Yeah. Because they put their flag down. We're not having that in our state. Not in our state.
So whatever. You just marched over and it was on.
It was there was like a flood of just red versus yellow, just going crazy on each other.
How did it stop?
Police got involved. Like you can see it. There's footage of it. It was
Have you got it, Jared?
insane. So
Yeah.
that was like genuinely heartbreaking.
You don't see that here in Australia.
No.
Oh,
not
imagine
quite,
if that
not-
happened
not
here.
quite. No, this was bad. I genuinely I
Did people get charged or anything?
No one got charged, but it was it was on. Like it was
Yeah.
definitely on. And so we ripped the flag out of their hand, sort of thing, and here you go.
Oh,
That's
here we
what
go.
we are. That's
Yeah.
what Michigan does, man. And that's what we do. First of all, let's stop this.
And folks, something interesting is going
Wow.
on the field right now. Michigan
Yeah,
tried
it's
to
on.
plant
Gee.
their
Oh.
flag in the middle of the Ohio State field, and the Buckeyes rushed right
Where were you
to
in
it.
there?
So do you reckon they planned this?
And
So
now
I was
there's
out back a little bit
skirmishes
because I was
going
sort of like, what's going on
the
again?
field.
This started happening. Yeah, they planned to plant the flag for sure if they won. I think they did it a couple of years earlier or tried to.
Wow.
Anyway,
So, yeah, just so I know, we're just digressing. Like that night, you said it was like dark day.
Yep.
What's it like after losing to them?
No,
Like, what do you do?
I just go home and just sit there and just
Do you cop it on campus or anything, or is
Yeah,
it?
you
Do you
wouldn't-
feel like?
you wouldn't go out.
Yeah.
You definitely wouldn't go out.
It's like religion.
Yeah. Like it's at the end of the semester, like last week or two, and like our kicker missed a couple of kicks and he couldn't go to school like the next
Really?
week. No, you couldn't do that. He got some of the most diabolical messages I've ever seen were sent to his phone, like just horrendous. So it's pretty full on.
Is this from other like current students?
Yeah.
Because like when we were telling you we were in Texas last year, watched a Longhorns game, and there was all these people. There were guys in their 60s that
Yeah.
and they're saying we this, we that, like
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah, no students, adults,
Yeah.
whoever, people having a bet on the game.
Oh yeah.
Just people getting stuck into him. It's just sort of, I mean, just how AFL players cop it here too.
Yep.
But yeah, it was bad. But anyway, so that.
Yep.
So 2 or 3 days later, we had a team meeting, and it was just coach day and the players, and it was just like, all right, anything you want to say, get it out now, because we still have we made the playoffs. Like we've got an 80 to win now, but we need to address this because it's it's really bad. And that was our 4th year in a row that we'd lost to them. So that's and yeah, some players asked Coach Dave, about some decisions. He defended it and gave. I think he was incredible about it, to be honest. And then at the end of it, basically after an hour and a half, 2 hours, I think it was either Seth McLaughlin or Will Howard, our starting centre and starting quarterback, stood up and said, "Righto, we're not going to let them beat us twice. We've had the chat. Now let's go and actually win a natty." And we did. We were fired up. We trained really hard. I don't know if Coach Day slept for 3 weeks. Like, I think he just watched so much film of any team we could have played that we just couldn't lose. Like, it was, we were dialed. And then we ran out against Tennessee at home. And Tennessee in the SEC, they carry on, we're more passionate fans, or, their stadium's called Neyland in Tennessee. And they're like, we're going up to play Ohio in Neyland North because we're going to overrun their stadium, whatever. And we went out there and just gave it to them. Like, minus 12 degrees, they run out with their shirts off to show how tough they are, and we put 21 points on them in the first quarter. just murder. Like, we killed them. And then from there, the ball just kept rolling. Went to the Rose Bowl to play Oregon, who beat us by 2 points earlier in the season. They were undefeated up until then, number 1 ranked team, and just murder. Like, we killed them. It was like 36-0 at halftime, I think, and then we sort of dialed it back a bit and won by 20 points. Then Texas. That was the semi-final. That was a game. That was a genuine game. Yeah, your guys, you've got on your foot.
Yeah, we got the old tats.
Yeah.
I don't think Joe liked that very much, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's not one of the other teams.
Yeah, at least it's not that up north one.
Yeah.
So Texas they're really skillful, really fast, similar to us. And they were a really good team, and we went out and it was very back and forth. I think I might have punted 4 or 5 times in the second quarter. Like, it was very back and forth. And we were at halftime. It was 7-7. Just about. It was 30 seconds till halftime. It was 7-7. And me and my long snapper were like, you just never know in the playoffs. So we were warming up for an extra point hold sort of thing, and we run this play. I'm not great with the names. I think it was a screen maybe. And our quarterback checked it down to our running back at our 25-yard line, and our offensive lineman did an incredible job, and the C's just parted, and he's just run it straight down the middle for a touchdown with 10 seconds on the clock.
Wow.
So we'd gone up 7 points at halftime with insane momentum. I think we got the ball back as well in the third quarter, and that was one of the most insane things I've experienced. So we ran on, got the extra point. And then later in the game, again, it was 21-14, and they were inside their 10. So then usually you're thinking, all right, they're probably going to score here, and we would have been left with 2 minutes to somehow score and hopefully win the game. We're down there. Their quarterback, Quinn Ewers, transferred from Ohio State to Texas 2 years earlier, and they're first and 8 to the goal line. And our defense just brick wall, like can't get through them, but then they commit a flag. Then there's another flag, and they just keep getting a couple of opportunities, but they are just absolute stonewall. Like, they get to the 1 yard line, and our defensive tackle just stops them dead. Like, unbelievable. Caleb Downs makes an incredible play and pushes them back from the 1 yard line back to the 8 yard line. And then on, I think it was 3rd and 8, Jack Sawyer, Captain Jack, who was the former housemate of the Texas captain, strip sacks him.
Name.
Yes, yeah. Strip sacks him and takes it back to the house for a touchdown. We go 14 points up and win. The crowd was... we were in Texas, though, as well.
Yep.
Mental.
Yep.
And, I mean, I can send you some footage. I don't know if you will
Yeah,
find it on YouTube of the bars back in Columbus, though. Absolute mayhem. Anyway,
I can
I've always
imagine.
wanted to go to Columbus.
it's a good place. Then the next week, National Championship week. So I think it was 10 days between games. Obviously, a lot of preparation. You're tucked away at home, spending as much time as you possibly can, watching film, practicing, working on whatever it is. I had friends and family come visit, which was great, and we're going to Atlanta for the game. Anyway, we fly in 3 or 4 days earlier, media circus sort of thing, like similar to the Super Bowl. We got media day. It was actually in the same media convention hall that I visited with Dad as part of the media in 2019 for the Super Bowl, which was Patriots Rams. This time I was on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. Anyway, playing against Notre Dame, probably if we're the biggest or equal biggest program there, they'd be second.
Yep.
Like, enormous. And I'm playing against my mate James Rendell, who fellow Australian, whose dad worked with my dad at Collingwood as well. And we get there and atmosphere is crazy, and we have one of those days where we just did a great job and we ended up winning the natty, and it was just crazy. It was unbelievable. And then with that, you go home and pretty good celebration afterwards. We had
Deserved
they opened up the stadium as well for a parade sort of thing, and then a couple months later we got to go to the White House and sit in the Oval Office and meet the president.
Yeah, it's crazy,
Yeah.
that story.
So it's a pretty cool experience. So that was the run.
Mate, incredible.
The celebrations after, maybe spending, like, was your family at the game? Who was there?
So we flew back the next morning. So the game finished at like 11:30. We didn't get back to the hotel till 12:30, 1 o'clock. So we didn't actually do much that night. Had a couple of beers with the teammates and a couple of my best mates flew in. So one of my mates, Harry Molnar, flew in from Australia. My brother, Jesse, who was the guy before me, he came. Both parents, and then one of my mates, Daniel Blunt, lives in America, but he was starting his new job the next day. And he's come to the game and then flown out
What
like
a
an hour
legend.
later. Yeah, red-eye flight, got to his first day on the job, off 2 hours sleep, coming straight from the natty. So, shout out to those guys. Thank you for coming to that. But yeah, so we flew back to Ohio the next morning. They flew back as well, and we rented out this one of the best bars in Columbus, basically, and the line was out the door.
Yeah.
Rocked up, opened the doors, and there's these two identical twins, Deontay and Devontae. And they're just standing there with a bucket of beer each, and they're like, I was like, oh, let's go. So, had a couple of beers with them, and it was good. Had dinner with my family and my mates as well, and my brother. It was
moment.
just great to celebrate with them, and it was fantastic.
Xander actually told the story on this pod about, from his perspective, or what he heard from you about going to the Oval Office and meeting the president. Can you tell us, can you expand on that a little bit more, what happened that day?
Yeah, so we rocked up, sort of bus tour of Washington, D.C. We went and had a lunch sort of looking out at the Capitol building, which was great view. Everyone's wearing their rings, you're wearing a suit, obviously. And then we rock up to the White House. We've had to get approved way before, so passports get sent in, visas, all that sort of thing. Rock up, they take us in the back door, walk through the garden around to the front, so where all the press conferences are held, the stairs.
Yep.
So we walk up the stairs and we get like a little tour of the inside, the centre part, which is where all the portraits are. So it was really cool to see, every portrait. We went and saw the Lincoln Memorial and Washington Monument. And then, so we're walking around and the photos, the portraits are all presidents, they're holding their tie or I think one of them's on a horse. Then you walk around the corner, prime position as well. And there's Trump, earshot off, blood smeared to his face, fist up, and the American flag behind him. And I was like, gee, it was pretty cool. I was he's funny. And I don't know if this is true, but apparently he moved Biden's portrait somewhere else so he could get the prime position, which is all, that's awesome. It's hilarious. And then, we come down and there's a bit of a ceremony. We had the national championship trophies there. We present Trump with a jersey and a helmet, and a couple of guys get up and speak. And Trump's being pretty funny. He's like, where's Will, the quarterback? He's like, where's Will? Oh, wow, come up and shook his hand. And he's like, wow, this guy's very tall, very handsome. And he's like, he's going to be so rich. It was very funny. He's very charismatic. He was a funny guy. And then we weren't supposed to go to the Oval Office, apparently. But then Trump sort of stood up. He's like, yeah, we're not meant to do that, but stuff it. We're going to do it anyway. We'll take you through. I don't know if he did that for theatrics or whatever, but it was great. We went down to the Oval Office, which is in the West Wing, I think it's West Wing. We walked through and to get in there. There you go.
There it is.
I'm just next to him. That makes it look like I'm first. I was like the closest to him.
Wow.
But you walk in, phones, smartwatches, anything, like you hand that in before you go into the West Wing.
Yeah.
And you walk down, and there's sort of like a corridor, and there's just photos covering every wall of like his presidential highlights, basically.
Yeah.
Which that's not just a Trump thing. That's every president does it.
Okay.
But you get there, and then there's just this little door there, and that's the Oval Office.
Wow.
Wow, like this is insane. And he gave us this token, which it's called a challenge coin that all presidents get, and it's this gold coin, which was it's really cool actually. And then we got to walk in and got a photo, and I saw that. Can't get anything signed by him because you could construct a contract, something around that. And they it's a bit, and then they sort of said, just get in and out, like don't stop or anything, just say hello, whatever. But I walk in and someone in the group before me shook his hand, and I was like, oh.
Were you advised not to?
They didn't specifically say don't do it, but they were like, get through.
Yep.
And I was like, shaking a sitting president's hand in the Oval Office. Like,
Only get one chance.
you never get to go again.
I don't know if I'll do this many more times. So, so we went to him and like, Mr. President, appreciate it. Thanks for having us, mate. And then, left and he shook my hand and I've got to shake a sitting US president. Whether you like him or hate him, he's the sitting president of the United States in the Oval Office. And it's pretty cool. It's actually not as big as you'd think, the Oval Office. Like it looks like this big grand room, but it's small, but you can feel the significance of it for sure.
Insane.
So
you've done some pretty crazy things, like since just going over there and making that move. I mean, can you talk us through how hard it was at the start to make that decision? Like, obviously, looking back now, you go, "Oh, well, it's the easiest thing you've ever done." But at the time, like, it's got to be pretty difficult to take your whole life overseas, start again.
Yeah, well, I'm very blessed with my upbringing and family, and went to a good school and everything. So it'd be very easy for me to stay here and figure something out here, I guess, if I had to. But I've always wanted to be some level of athlete, I guess. And this was kicking was the one thing I could do. So I was about 20 when I decided, and I was like, I'll give this a crack, and I sort of learnt more about it and got more excited about it, and sort of proved to myself and others, but mostly myself, that I can go and do it myself. So it's just one of those things that, like, doesn't matter who anyone is. Like, if you're not going to play for college football team unless you are good enough to do so. So that was a big motivating factor for me. And that was the decision. And then Ohio State came knocking, and it was sort of, there was no question in the end. And Xander actually said to me at one point, he's like, "Mate, if you get a call and you don't go, I will sedate you and drive you to the airport myself to make sure you go, because you have to do this." So had full family backing, family support. And then once the call came through, it was no question for me. So
I mean, you grew up in one of the most famous families in the country, right? And Xander actually spoke a lot about growing up in the McGuire household, which was really fascinating to hear some of the cool things that you guys were privy to that the rest of us weren't, or, mainly your old man. But one thing I kind of, after that interview, I thought, far out, I wish I asked Xander this question, was more about actually your mum.
Yes.
Because we hear about your dad. Your dad's, Eddie everywhere. We know Eddie. But tell us a bit about your mum.
Yeah, well, she's actually the great entrepreneur of the family.
Okay.
So she started her own business in the rag trade when she was early, mid-20s. And she'd go and work 6 months a year in China, India, maybe even Bangladesh, like some of those. And then there was the European and American side of it too. But she was going in and like finding different fabrics, the perfect colour. I don't know if you've been to India before, but you walk down the streets of Old Delhi and the colour's insane. Like the colours they can get on their garments are just crazy. So Mum used to go there and find those like the correct cloth or the right stitching or whatever, take it to factories, get things made. And she was unreal at that, and she was quite adamant that she was going to do that forever, I guess. And then you have kids and everything, and she wanted to be a big part of our life. And she couldn't do that living 6 months a year overseas. So she ended up selling her business, but did incredibly well out of it. And then from a parental side, she's just the best mum ever. Like one of the things I miss the most is mum's cooking. So
I bet.
I think I've said before, but sometimes you go out for dinner and you want to have a good meal or whatever, and I just sometimes sit there and I'm like, I can just get this at home.
Nothing like a good home cooked meal
She's
for
just
mum.
an unbelievable cook, and she'd sometimes very supportive of Xander and I's endeavours, whatever we're doing, but might have had a tough day at school or at footy training, or didn't make the ones or whatever, and she'd rock up at school and she'd have a toastie and a hot chocolate for me. So she was the best. So very supportive. Couldn't have done more. Couldn't ask for a better mum.
Was it ever hard for her, like under the intense scrutiny of whatever's going on, especially with how your old man seems to be the busiest bloke, in this country, and just always in the spotlight, and there's always things going on, whether it's Collingwood or TV or radio, whatever else it may be. What's it like behind the scenes when you've had times in your lives where there's been a media storm or there's attacks coming at you guys. So what's it like inside your four walls? I'm
sure it was hard, but she wouldn't show it. Like very, very tough, like absolute rock, like CEO of the family, we'd say, like absolutely runs the show. Dad refers to her as the boss, because she's in charge. She was her and Dad were great for us, and they did a great job of sort of shielding, I guess, a little bit of that. You're never going to get away from it completely. It's in the media. And I think Xander mentioned, we have cameras out the front of the house sometimes and that sort of thing. But they were the best. For the situation, and good or bad, like couldn't be better. Mm-hmm. So, and also did a good job just sort of saying, like, you're never as good and you're never as bad as what you're told. So just sort of keep doing, work hard, do what you want to do and get on with it, sort of thing. So
and being, the son of someone, such high profile, there is that element. I'm sure you get the comments, and we actually got comments on our socials when Xander was on it. The whole nepotism thing, like, oh, you come from privilege, like, of course you're going to succeed in life. Have you, had to deal with comments like that online and things like?
A little bit, but if you know what you're talking about, it's to play a sport, you have to be good enough. Like, you're not going to
exactly.
Maybe if I made a list in a not a professional one, but like if I made a VFL list in Australia for Collingwood to have a crack at, and I wasn't getting a game, then maybe you could say something like that. But for college sport, you have to be good enough to get it. And then to Xander, by the way, I won't cop that. Yeah. Like if any that pisses me off a lot when I read stuff about Xander with nepotism, because that would imply that he only got the job because of who Dad is now. Maybe did it get his foot in the door? Maybe, I don't know. But very, very intelligent guy. He was school vice captain. Incredibly good academics. Like he was getting like last round offers before he actually turned them down at schools like Oxford and Yale sort of thing. Like he's very smart and works his ass off. I've seen him a bit while I'm here, but not as much as I'd like to, because he's up at 6 sometimes and home at 8:30 or 12 after the footy. Like he absolutely grinds, and I don't care who you're going to put in, who you might want to put in. There's no one that's working harder or doing a better job than he is. So that's nepotism with him. I won't cop.
Well said, mate.
No, well said. And he the thing is, he is just incredibly good at what he does too. Yeah. Above everything else in terms of working hard, he's just a natural. He's rising so quickly. He's outstanding at what he does.
Yeah.
So
gets great stories. Speaks really well in front of camera. He's charismatic.
Yeah.
He's funny. He's good. He's a good bloke.
Now we can't let you go. He's a good bloke.
He's a great bloke.
He's a great bloke. He's a really, really good bloke.
He is, yeah.
And so, but we can't let you go without, we need one story about Collingwood from you. So give us one of your favourite memories. I mean, I know the 2010 grand final was a famous one, but do you have any others that stand out that are...
I don't...
Because I heard you say, you estimated... You reckon you've been to 1,000 games?
Yeah, I thought about it a few more times. I reckon I was a bit over.
I actually was trying to do the math as well.
Yeah, I was like, I've carried on a bit here. Not Collingwood games, but like games in general.
No.
Definitely be 600 to 700.
Yeah, it would be high. It would be really high.
But is there a day that stands out outside of a grand final for whatever reason, even if it's not a significant game? Like a core memory. What comes to your mind?
There was actually the preliminary final against Hawthorn in 2011. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yes.
Luke Ball, yeah. Yeah, and Buddy Franklin kicked that mirror goal to put him in front, and when Buddy...
I'll never forget where I was.
Yeah,
me too.
Same.
Yeah.
But Buddy,
you had better seats than we did.
Yeah, I was at home.
Me too.
But there's a few reasons I remember it. One is like we were going crazy, and like it was just a great day. Two, the camera panned to us after one of the goals, and hilariously my grandma, my nan, was sitting next to Xander, and she's just throwing their hands up. And she's not one to like the camera or anything. It just makes me laugh that she's going crazy, because she's a lifelong Collingwood fan as well. But also that day, Mum was actually away, and you can see that Dad, like when he goes up, he's got his BlackBerry in his hand, and he's texting Mum like live updates, because it was before the iPhone, really, 2011. So he's got the BlackBerry.
I haven't had one of them in a while.
Texting Mum, who was in New York, just going. So it was kind of good having that connection there, and we won a preliminary final, and it was crazy. It was a close game. I had Luke Ball on my back, so
really?
I love that moment. Yeah, I know. I really like Luke Ball.
I saw him at a golf day a few weeks ago. Yeah.
So good. It was really nice to me as well, and Xander. I think Xander might have mentioned the grand final to you guys. Yeah. So we got to run out on that day. So that was pretty cool.
Special moment.
That was 2010. And then I suppose if I go back even further, what would have been maybe 7 years old, I reckon, down in the rooms one day, and Dad's probably 5 meters away, but he sort of said, "Just stay here for 1 minute. I need to go and get something." Xander wasn't there, and I don't think Mum was either. She would have been looking after Xander, and Dad was gone for maybe 30 seconds, and I was sort of freaked out a little bit, and I was like, went for a little walk, which is probably not what I should have done, and I was like, "Where am I?" I like tapped on someone's like probably like knee or something. Like, what do I do? And it was Nathan Buckley, and he just like picked me up, and he's like, "Oh, come on, mate, come with me," and he like dragged me back to Dad and looked after me. So, that would have been nearly 20 years ago now, but I just really remember that day.
Crazy.
So,
that's why I asked, because it's interesting to hear those memories that just pop up that unsung.
Nice for you to reflect too.
No, it's fantastic. I was very lucky with what I got to experience. So
Do you keep an eye out when you're over there? Do you watch Collingwood still?
Yeah. So we wake up so early for games that I'll get the second half of Thursday, Friday, Saturday night games.
Yep.
So, Collingwood normally plays around then.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. No, if you're a big time team.
Boss,
So.
yeah, I know. Xander was telling us that too. He kept saying the biggest club in the land. He didn't stop saying it.
Hey,
As a Dogs fan, yeah.
Unfortunately,
Wow.
and I'm sure
Factually
you
correct.
probably complain about us playing at the MCG, but if Geelong want to play at Canadian Park, they're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
If they want to lose out on 40,000 seats
True.
worth of tickets, so if you're the biggest team in the land, you draw a big crowd.
What do you reckon
to
about
play
Pen?
MCG.
Just on topic, Pendle's wearing the gold.
I deserves it.
You love it?
Yeah, well, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I love it
If
too.
he wants to wear it, then he.
Yeah. I hope
I'm
is he
then I'm
wearing
for
it? Do we know if he's
I think so.
wearing it?
I think, yeah.
that'd
But
be
no,
good.
I mean, he deserves absolute champion of the game. Unreal guy. Like he's a bit like LeBron in the sense
Yeah,
that you
for
can't
sure.
really fault him on much. Like,
No.
there's not much he hasn't done. I mean, there's no Brownlow, but whatever.
I think it's time for us to jump into the Coinspot hot seat.
Yes.
Joe. So our good friends at Coinspot, the best and easiest place to buy and sell all your cryptocurrencies.
Yes, there's over 500 cryptocurrencies you can buy, sell, trade on Coinspot. Download the app today. As always, good partners of our show, so we thank them very much. Now, I'll give you this one to you.
Okay.
You can read out. But before we do, any memories for you on hot seat? I'm sure you've seen that on a little bit throughout the household.
Yeah, well, yeah. Actually, I might be getting this wrong a little bit, but I think it's right. I remember going to Dad's. I think it was his last hot seat before he became CEO.
Yep.
Oh no, it wasn't a hot seat. It was Who Wants to Be a
Millionaire.
Millionaire.
Yeah.
I reckon I went to his last one. I remember that a little bit. But then I actually worked on hot seat.
Really?
Yeah, from when I was 19 to 21-ish. So because I worked after school, I worked a fair bit, and I had a couple of jobs. One of them was working as a runner, basically on hot seat.
Okay.
Low level, carry the cable sort of thing. And I was there the day that the guy won $1 million.
Oh, wow.
So that was unbelievable. You get people that are getting close. You're like, oh, today might be the day, and then it ends up being 50,000.
Yep.
But this guy kept going, and he got to $1 million question, and they had to stop and be like, all right, this is what we're gonna do if it happens, like whatever.
Oh, wow.
And I normally I know the answer before because I've seen the cue cards, whatever. But Dad doesn't know. Dad doesn't know the answers when you get to the big money because there's insurance involved, whatever.
Yeah.
So he might have known the answer, but he didn't know the answer officially.
Sure.
And I was just sitting there, and I've just started sweating. And I'm like underneath. I'm in a squatted position, and Dad, being the entertainer that he is, has dragged this out, and I'm literally squatting under a camera. I can't stand up because that's the camera getting the shot, and my quads are killing me. I'm just
lactic
dying.
acid
I'm
buildup.
like shaking, and then finally it went off, and the cannons went off, and it was. I think it might have been the first one in hot seat.
Wow.
And it was unreal, and it's this guy who's. I think he was down in his cash, but was trying to buy a house sort of thing, and ended up being able to do it. So I think he lives in
Amazing.
Carlton, and yeah.
There you go. And now you get to play for $1 million here on the
Yeah, I wish. So Joe, which team is the most hostile to play at? Is it A, Michigan State,
No.
B, Texas, C, Illinois, or D, Penn State?
On that, it'd probably be Penn State because they've got the whiteout.
So locking in D?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Have we got a correct answer here? Or is it
No,
just,
no,
okay.
no.
I thought
No,
we
this
ran
is-
a
this is-
survey or
this is
something.
We
more
don't
like
have this. Unfortunately, that question
No.
doesn't have a
Okay,
factual.
Well, Michigan State's good, but it's a bit smaller. Illinois is small. Small being like 65,000. I actually haven't
bigger than
played,
Marvel Stadium, like bigger than Adelaide Oval. Yeah.
I haven't played at Texas yet. We played in the Cotton Bowl, which is in Dallas, but we're playing at Texas at night, week 2
Saw that
this year.
Yeah.
Which will be hostile. But then Penn State is, it's I think it's 110, 111 the day we played there. And that's, at the start of the game when they were still a chance, it was loud. Like it was, pretty good. So
As a follow-up to that question, so when you are playing away, what's probably, do you have a memory of something that you actually feel the hostility for whatever reason? Like,
well, Michigan team up north had a beer poured on me. I was
Oh,
walking
had a
up
what?
the race, a beer.
poured
Like
on
he luckily he didn't get on the jersey, but it came down my arm. And I just looked up, I was like, standard.
Give him the bird.
Nah. So I was like, oh yeah, standard up north fan, whatever. I went out and gave it to him after that anyway. 27-9. But actually one of the best atmospheres, I reckon the best one I've experienced so far was at Oregon.
okay.
It was a night game, college game day. They had their blackout, so all black jerseys. And although they're only 60,000, their stadium's kind of built in a way that amplifies the sound. And that was absolutely insane, like absolutely deafening. And at a lot of schools do similar things, but at 3/4 time, you know the song Shout?
Yeah, great song.
So they play Shout at 3/4 time, like for the whole time. And the whole crowd's going crazy, and they're like throwing their arms up in the air. And when it's like you get a little bit softer now, they actually get softer.
Lower.
They lie down on the ground, and then when they start getting louder again, it just absolutely explodes.
Wow.
And although we lost that game, it's one of my favourite college football memories I've had, because it is just unbelievable. I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah,
thinking about it. It's
that sounds
phenomenal.
amazing.
Insane, mate.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I think we need to get into our college football.
I know.
don't we?
I know.
Yeah,
I want to get to a game. You
The
might be able to
problem-
help us out when we get over.
Yeah,
The problem is,
100%.
well, like we said, we're already tatted up,
Yeah,
so
I
we
know.
might
Yeah,
have
we
a
can't-
team with
We'll get a bucker on the other side.
Thank
Get
God
a
it's on the
bucket.
ankle.
Get a bucko on the other ankle. But, mate, thank you so much for, I mean, again, like you're only in Melbourne for not a long period of time, so we're really grateful you've come in. But, mate, we won't send you home empty-handed, so we've got a few gifts courtesy of our wonderful partners, and we're going to start with the Milkman, Dossie boy.
Milkman Australia, Joe, leading the way in all things male grooming. No nasties. All good natural chemicals. So unzip that.
it, yep.
You've got a few little goodies in there.
Cool.
So you've got a nice little natural
Oh, wow.
roll-on
There's a lot in
roll-on deodorant.
So
A
you
bit
got-
of hair
guys,
texture
yep.
powder that
So-
you can.
I use that every single day. It
You do?
smells great, and I can see you got you
Got a little bit.
you
Yeah,
got you got nice
think
hair. So that'll-
unfortunately, I've got the really, really, really straight hair gene, so it just comes down and.
Oh, well,
so,
that'll-
I'll
mate,
need
that'll
this for
sort you
sure.
out,
Actually,
And then a cologne
I actually
as well.
ran out of my hair gel
Really?
today, so excellent timing.
that one is
Well, you're in
very
luck.
sticky too. It's great.
I'll have to use it later on.
And it's
Everyone-
good for those. So just sorry to just
That's
barge
okay.
on this product,
Yeah,
but
okay.
just for those whose hair might be thinning, it actually gives you a bit of texture powder too. It makes it a
good.
bit
Yeah,
thicker.
that's
So
bit of volume.
Yeah.
and
me.
your good self. Yeah.
Yeah. For those wanting to get involved and buy some of this beautiful product, thanks to Milkman, head to milkmanaustralia.com. Use the code dos&d, 20% off.
20% off. Make the most of that code, and you can look and smell like Joe over here. Yeah, he's got the cologne
Awesome.
as well. Beautiful.
Excellent, yeah.
Next one
Thank you.
is Tommy's. Now, Tommy's is one of our friends, quite local to you, Joe.
Yeah.
Well, when you lived here in Melbourne, they're based off Chapel Street, and they're actually heading over to the US in the next month, Dos, to actually launch Tommy's Spritz over in the US. So they're sending you home with a 4-pack there, mate. There's a few flavors. Limoncello is my favorite. We got the Mandarin as well. But made by our mates here in Melbourne, Italian-style liquors and spritzes. They're here for a good time, just like the owners, Dos. And you can, guys, use the code dos&d15 for 15% off your Tommy's online. You can also get them in your BWS and Dan Murphy's.
And one more, which is Freddy's Pizzeria, which is also on Chapel Street in Windsor. Good wood-fired pizza.
Yes.
Take the family. They're open every night for dinner, Monday to Friday, and they're sending you and your family. They're going to look after you guys. So
Fantastic.
Maybe pass it over to Xander.
Yeah, but
Well-
if next time you're in Melbourne and you want to go for a night at Freddy's for, mate, if you come back with a new friend, you wanna give her a taste of Melbourne, mate, for pizza and wine, then Freddy's will look after you, mate. There's a voucher for you, but also sending you home with a pizza today as well.
Awesome.
And
Thank
then
you very much.
Lastly, the dos&d goodie bag. This is filled with some golf products for you.
Do you play
Oh,
golf?
fantastic. I do, yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, we got a 36-hole golf course at Ohio State. Alistair
Of course
McKenzie
you do.
design.
Yeah.
Jeez, no wonder why it's bigger than the CBD.
Jack Nicholas Went to Ohio State, so
Oh.
got good golf facilities. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Don't get much better than that. But
No.
in there, mate, there's a few golf accessories for you. So some balls, some tees, glove, some clutch and co in there too, mate. I think there's a hat in there.
Jeez,
and
this
a
should
towel.
last at least 9 holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully. Well, I mean, yeah, I've already lost all mine.
Thanks to our good friends at GCO, Golf Clearance Outlet.
Yes, we're about to go over and do the Golf Clearance Outlet Chipping Challenge, where Joe's going to play for a much bigger prize, where he can actually run into the store and take whatever he wants off the shelves if he can beat the current leader, which is Paul Connors, I believe.
It is, yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
so we'll see if he can knock over Paul.
What's he on? What's his score?
I think it's 300.
I don't remember.
Yeah, we'll double check that before we start. but-
Joe, mate, thanks so much. We've loved it. We've wanted to do this for a while, mate. So it's good to finally get you in, have a chat, and congratulations on everything you're doing.
No, thanks very much, guys. It's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Here with the great man, Joe McGuire. Joe, how was your dos&d experience, mate?
Fantastic. It was like Christmas. I got that many presents from you guys.
I know.
Yeah.
Geez, so-
Thanks to the sponsors.
Don't know if that's a compliment. Mate, how are you feeling about the GCO Chipping Challenge?
Yeah, not too bad. Had a little practice swing before, but it's a big target that's been set. So
Biggest brands head straight to Golf Clearance Outlet, in-store or online today. The leaderboard is Paul Connors sitting at the top on 350. All right, I got a sneaky feeling
Don't know. It's
You don't know?
It's a big score, but I'll do my best.
Tell you what a high to finish your trip back in Melbourne winning this.
It'll be good.
All right, let's get stuck in.
Right, let's have a crack.
All right.
He's with the RMs on as well.
Oh yeah, the RMs.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
As all good amateur golfers,
Great grip.
I'll blame my equipment if I lose.
Yeah.
All
right. Oh, 75. That's a good start. It's a lovely start. Have you played a fair bit of golf, Joe?
A little bit. In summer, I get to play probably 3 or 4 times a week.
Yep.
So I get good in summer.
Oh, so that's a fair chunk. You do enjoy your golf.
Yeah. But then in winter, like I won't play from August till now, basically.
Yeah, okay.
So I get pretty bad between then.
All right, second one. Oh, 75 again. That's okay. Now, we've heard that Ohio State has everything facilities-wise.
Yep.
Do they have their own golf simulator? Yeah, of course they do. Why did I ask?
The dog show.
Why would you say that?
Oh, 75 again.
Why would you say that?
He's mozzed him. Oh, he's mozzed him, and he's a believer of the moz.
Oh, Dad's, you guys know Dad's a big believer of the Moz,
220. Jeez. All right.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. It's a zero.
This is your fault.
Yeah, it is.
This is your fault.
Oh, no. That's a zero.
I can't believe you've done that.
But you've got a chance. If we hit that bullseye, you're winning. I know.
No, Joe.
No, it's another 75. What's that total, D?
That's 300.
Okay, 300, mate. So 50 behind the leader, but that's all right, mate. Thank you so much.
I'm coming off for him.
Watch out, D. Mate, all the best.
I appreciate it.